All right, first and foremost, I would like to give all honors and the praises and the glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, whose name is Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wahavaka Kodash. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh. Son's name is Yahweh Shai, in who I reverence and honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the very few brothers and sisters that are listening and also learning, right? And to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the very few brothers and sisters. I already said that, listen and learning in the hopes of being saved within these last days. This lesson, it's going to be somewhat basic. It's going to be on America. It shall be as an oven. It's going to burn like an oven. And not just America, different parts of the earth, but mainly America, right? And that's why we seek to be right with Yahweh Shem Yahushua before his return, before these things happen, right? Before his return, yes, America, which is known as Babylon, is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. I want to start off on Isaiah 55. This is Isaiah 55, and we're going to start at 55. I haven't been on this one for a long time. 55, 56. The wrong one, 56. And that's why, again, it's so important to go over the scriptures time and time and time. I think it's Isaiah 54. Here it is. Isaiah 54, and this is 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Right? So when it's the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, what's that? What's the smith? The nuclear weapons that bloweth the coals in the fire. That's how they're designed. Right? They're structured in a particular way, built in a particular way. Okay? The smiths, and guess what? The ancient smiths, who are they? Right? The ancient smiths would be known as what? Your physicists. You had the German physicists, right? Which are part of the paperclip, was it Project Paperclip or whatever? Right? With your German scientists, right? They were your ancient day smiths. And now you have your modern day smiths, right? And it says, Babakashah, 54 and 16. And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. What comes forth out of it? An instrument, which is their missiles. Okay? And I've created the waster to destroy. And that's exactly what these missiles are going to do. And a lot of nations have got them now. Not just America. Libya has missiles. Iran has missiles. Right? And remember, was it last year or the year before? Last year, they killed what? The physicist, the Iran physicist. Right? Okay. Okay, that's what they done. They took him out. Right? And India's got what missiles? Because who would they buy their missiles of? Russia. What was it? The S-400? Was it S-400 or 300? Right? So even these weaker nations, they even got missiles, nuclear capability. That bloweth the coals in the fire. Verse 17, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. This is concerning the elect. Right? And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is in me, saith the Lord. Right? So them same missiles, them same smiths that have been created, but who actually created it? It's the Heavenly Father. Right? The Heavenly Father created these smiths. Right? And these smiths are going to be used, these missiles are going to be used. Just a minute. I'm not going to go too in depth because this is a vast lesson. We can go to Jeremiah, and it's going to break it down what nations are going to use this. Jeremiah 50. Right, this is Jeremiah 50, and check this out. This is Jeremiah 50 and 8. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans. and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon. Babylon today, code name, it's America, right? The modern day Babylon today is America. The ancient Babylon would be known as, what was it known as? Iraq. This Babylon is America. An assembly of great nations from the North Country, right? NATO, right? The EU, because even hold on, Russia, right? Okay, all these European nations, they're gonna rise against America, right? From the North Country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. Why does it say her? Because America's, remember in Revelation 17 and 16, is known as a whore, right? From then shall she be taken, their arrow shall be as mighty expert man. Why? Because now you have navigational systems with these missiles, so they're not going to miss. None shall return in vain. None of these missiles are going to return. Once they're shot, they go. Just like when you shoot an arrow doesn't return back to you. It goes forward, right? And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, pleased, right? Saith the Lord Yahweh Shai. And it was written, the judgment of Babylon, it was written just differently. It was the same thing that was being seen in the vision. It was the same vision, but different, right? In the way it was described, okay, in the way it was seen. Spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord, because you were glad, because you rejoice, or you destroyers of my heritage. So America, they try to destroy our heritage, going back to Psalms 83, right? They conspire, they make a Talmud, okay, let's cast them down for being a nation, and so forth. Because you have grown fat as the heifer, and grass and bellow as bulls, they made a lot of money off the slave trade. Verse 12, your mother shall be sore confounded. What's the mother of America? Huh? America's what? The British. You had a lot of the British, right? That established America. British colonies. So-called British colonizers, which we know the real British were Jake, right? But America was colonized by what? The British, right? They were chucked out, right? They were known as criminals. That's why you have a lot of the so-called British that are in Australia. They were known as convicts. Okay, and that's a well-known fact. Excuse me, just a minute. Bear me just a minute. Right? And today they were known as what they call them, the Pilgrim, the founding fathers of America, which is bollocks, right? Because you already had the natives there, right? Prior to that. So is there anything else? This is Jeremiah 50 and 12. Your mother shall be so confounded, the UK, Britain. She that bare you shall be ashamed, right? And you remember, during the 1800s, 1700s, 1900s, who was ruling, right? The British. They had great power, sea power, trading power, right? But now, Britain doesn't really call the shots. No. Britain don't really call the shots. London's just the London city is just what, a corporation, right? Where a lot of dirty money is just laundered. That's all the city of London is, basically, right? That's what it is, right? It's the unclean front. But where does the legislation come from? No? Where does it come from? America. They have that last say, right? Washington, some say New York. When it gets filtered through what? Brussels, right? The headquarters. Okay. And it says, behold, and the hindermost part of the nation shall be as a wilderness and dry land and a desert. So that's what America's going to be, a dry land and a desert. And one may say, well, no, that seems very extreme. I'm reading out of the scriptures. As much as it may sound extreme to you, I'm just reading the prophecies of what's going to happen. Because you've got people, they're so small. Oh no, how could he say? I'm reading out of the scriptures, right? The Holy Bible. This is what it says. Verse 13, because the wrath of the Lord Jehovah, it shall not be inhabited, right? So this is a part of the Lord Yahweh's wrath, the Heavenly Father's wrath. But it shall be wholly desolate, completely empty. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. Everyone that goes past, right? They're going to be astonished, right? They're going to be surprised, right? At her plagues. Okay, excuse me just a minute. Yeah, they're going to be surprised. They're going to hiss at her plagues, right? Bear me just a minute. When I'm doing this, I like to have my incense burning. Oh man, I didn't bring it with me. You know what? It's alright. Just gonna have to leave that. Move this off. Just a minute. Right. That's what America's gonna be. A fiery furnace. Right? Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. That's what it's gonna be. Okay. Excuse me just a minute. So we're back on Jeremiah 50 and 13. Because of the wrath, key thing of the Lord Yahweh Yahushai, it shall not be inhabited, but it wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon, key thing, right, shall be astonished and hiss at her plagues. So even the other nations, they're going to be hissing, right, at the plagues, at the destruction, right, hissing. Put yourselves in array against Babylon, right? So this is what these nations are going to be doing. Lining up them troops, lining up them missile defense systems, right? Roundabout. So America's going to be surrounded. All you that bend the bow, right? Shoot at her. Spare no arrows. The arrows will be indicative of the missiles. For she hath sinned against the Lord. Okay. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her as she hath done. Do unto her. Right? Now we went to that Baba Kashar. You go to Revelations 18. Same thing. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having a great power, and earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mighty with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and hold of every foul spirit, and cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So that's what it's gonna become very, 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 very toxic. America's massive. You know how big one state is? One state is bigger than the whole of London. One state is bigger than the whole of London. Right? London can fit within one of the states within America. That's how big America is. And that's 51 states. Right? It's going to be a habitation of devils and every hateful bird and foul spirit. It's going to be a very, very toxic region. Right? For all nations have drunk of the wine of her wrath, of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. What does this mean? Right? All nations have drunk of the wine of her wrath, of her fornication. Right? They've done deals. Right? They've done deals with her. Right? A lot of nations have sold out their own country to do a deal with America. Right? Committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy. So there's particular countries that are also made very, very, very wealthy off America. Because if you crack the market, again, it's a large place, America. If you crack the market, even 1% or 2% of the market, you're a millionaire, maybe a billionaire, you can call it, depending on how far. Remember, there's a limit how far you can go, right? Because a lot of nations are making money off America, a lot of money, right? And one may say, does America produce? Yeah, it does produce a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff are actually import and export, trade, right? And how did they get a lot of this stuff? By robbery. It wasn't by fair gains. It wasn't by fair means, was it? And it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich for the abundance of her delicacy. Even particular kings, presidents, and so forth have done deals with her, right? And it says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich for the abundance of her delicacies. So they need America. They're relying on America. They're getting rich. You know how many Chinese, you know how many so-called Chinese, which they're Moabites, millionaires there is, billionaires there is, just through America, just by trade, just by trading my technology, right? I knew that would happen. Excuse me just a minute. I knew that would happen because of the wind. There's a lot, right? You make it. That's why they say if you can make it in America, you can make it anywhere. Crack the market there. Okay. You have many multi-million just by doing deals with America. Right? And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, and you be not partakers of her sins." So that's what we want to do. Come out of the ways of America, Babylon. Come out of the ways of her. Come out of her, my people. What does it mean, come out of her? Because it doesn't mean you leave America, right? You tell brothers and sisters to leave America, right? Leave them stranded in Egypt or something like GOCC. You're not supposed to do that. Come out of her, my people, spiritually. That you be not partakers of her sins. That you receive not of her plagues. So, how do you receive them sins and them plagues? Because America pushes out through media what? Legislation, right? Sin, right? Remember, it's that whore, right? And that whore wants you to sin, right? A whore, what does a whore do? A whore will want you to commit adultery, and adultery is punishable by death. So, the whore America wants us to commit spiritual adultery, right? That's what that whore wants us to do. Okay. But you be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues. That plagues is that destruction. We don't want to receive of those plagues. Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and I also have remembered her iniquities. So them sins, they've reached unto heaven, right? To the higher realms, right? They've reached unto the heavens. Okay? Because the angels, they're marked, just like in Sodom and Gomorrah. It was the same thing. That wickedness was reached unto the heaven. There was a report upon it. And I also have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you. Double unto her, double upon her works, in which the cup which she hath filled to her double. Right? Because she's filling up that cup. And it also says she filled up that cup. The cup was filled with the blood of the saints as well. Right? And martyrs of the truth. Right? Going back, what? To the Roman Empire. Right? And it says, how much hath she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and I am no widow. Right? That's that pride. That's that pride. That's that pride. She's a queen. Right? America's being, Yeah, America is still being put in adoration, like it's that great place. No, it's not. Right? And I am no widow and shall see no sorrow. That's how they're thinking. Right? We ain't gonna see no sorrow. Everything's good. Therefore shall her place come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and shall she utterly be burned with fire. For strong is the Lord who judgeth her. He's speaking about America, by the way. It's not actually speaking about actually woman, a physical woman. Parabolically, America is that woman. Right? Therefore shall her place come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. And these are the things we're warning our people about. These things are going to happen on the shores of America, not just on the shores of England as well. It's going to be great death, mourning. There's going to be famines. She shall utterly burn with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahushua, power who judgeth her. So this kingdom is going to be judged with fire. The old world was judged by water, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall be well her. What? Okay. And lament for her, right? When they shall see the smoke of her burning, they're gonna be crying. Bewail when you're bewailing someone, you're mourning, right? Excuse me. See, these nations, they're gonna be mourning, right? They're gonna be mourning for Babylon, right? Wondering why is this happening? It's happening because of the wickedness of Babylon and how it was established. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city, Babylon. Right? So it was great in the eyes of the world, but we find out it's not so great. That mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. 1 hour. So you're telling me that whole region of America, just in 1 hour. 1 hour, that whole region gonna be wiped out by thermonuclear destruction. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her. Who are the merchants? The bankers. They shall mourn and weep over, because it's a major cash cow, right? You still got these old organization of what the Brown Brothers. They still got their establishments there. The Rockefeller still got their establishments there. What's it? Lehman Brothers still got their establishments there. What's it? The Bilderbergs, they still got their establishments. The Austins, they got the major companies there, right? Which they were not all bankers, right? But the merchants, so what are merchants? The merchants are traders, right? What are they trading? Right? Well, they trade you on the market, but not just that, wood as well, timber, wood, precious wood, all these different things, right? The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, right? And pearls, fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet. These are things of worth. And all tie-in wood and all manner of vessels of ivory and all manner of vessels of most precious wood and brass and iron and marble. Any of you know about marble? Marble is very, very, very expensive. Very expensive. Just for a little block of it, it's expensive. Right? Well, America has all these commodities. Right? And cinnamon, right? And you can get cinnamon pretty much anywhere. Right? Cinnamon, what spice? And odors and ointments and frankincense, wine and oil and fine flour and wheat and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots. Horses ain't cheap. Horses ain't cheap. Some horses go for what? 5, 10 grand, even more. Right? And chariots and slaves and the souls of men. So America is rich in all these things. And the souls of men, because you have those that have what sold their soul. and the fruits that they so lusted after are departed from thee. All these things, and this is what Esau's trying to attain, right? And all the things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find him no more at all. Purchase of these things which were new, and stand afar off with the fear and wailing. They're going to stand far off and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that it was clothed, right, in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Speaking of America, for in 1 hour is that great riches is come to naught. 1 hour. 1 hour. So great riches. All of that's going to be lost. That's why the scriptures also say in Matthew 6 and 19, laying up for yourself treasures upon earth where thieves and rust and moth doth corrupt, but lay for yourself treasures in heaven. Right? That's what we're going to do. Lay them spiritual treasures. And it says, Baba Kashab, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches come to naught, and every shipmaster and all company and ships and sailors, and many are stood far off, right? Far off, and cried. So people are going to see it. And it may even be broadcasted on news. It may be, I don't know. By this time, electricity may be even cut off. It may be broadcasted. America has just been hit by missiles, right? And it says, and accompany his ships and sailors, right? As many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like this great city? Right? So they were upset. Why? Because there was money to be made, right? Trading, buying, trading, selling. Okay. And it says, Baba Kashab, Baba Kashab, Baba Kashab. And they cast dust on their heads, right? Cried, okay? Weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city where we were made rich. All, right? That had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, right? For in 1 hour, that's 1 hour, is she made desolate. So by ships, they were made rich. Can you trade by plane? Of course, yeah, you move stuff around in plane, but you're not really trading much in a plane, right? You can get more on a ship. So more, when trading, it's more done by ships, containers. More money is made, right? By shipping, by containers, import, export. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like that great city? Verse 19, and they cast their dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city. Right? Don't worry about it. That's nothing but the devil. Right? Wherein were made rich. All that had ships in the sea, key thing, by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. You got to remember spirits. Remember, they use people's vessels. Don't forget that. Right? Rejoice over her, though heaven and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High have avenged you on her. Why? Because this is what the prophets wanted. Okay? And it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone, and like a great millstone, and cast it, key thing, and cast it into the sea. Right? And it says, saying, thus with violence, key thing, thus with violence. And that's how America's going to go down, with violence. Shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall no more be found, no more at all. Verse 22, and the voice of the harpers and the musicians, right, and pipers and trumpeters, behold, no more at all indeed. No craftsman whatsoever crafty be shall be found any more indeed, and the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more at all indeed. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all indeed, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all indeed. thee, for the merchants were great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries, key thing, by thy sorceries, right, were all nations deceived. So it's letting us know. So America is practicing heavy sorcery. That's how the nations were deceived by America, right? And in her was found the blood of the prophets and the saints and all that were slain upon the earth, right? Those that had what the testimony of Yahweh Shah. So let's go to 2 Peter's, Babakashah, right? We're going to go to 2 Peter's. Excuse me just a minute. This is 2 Peter's 3. And we're going to jump straight to verse 7. But the heavens and the earth which are now, go to verse 5. For this willingly they are ignorant. So people want to continue to be ignorant, right? Of that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. What does that mean? The old world, right, was destroyed by what? Water. It was flooded. And there's proof of that as well. This video, you can find this, right? We're in the world because what? The ark was found on what? Mount Ararat. Okay? Modern day Turkey. Verse 6, whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished. But the heavens and earth which are now by the same word are kept in store, right? Reserved unto fire against the day of judgment, right? And perdition of ungodly men. So this same earth, this same rulership is reserved, right? Unto the day of what? The ungodly, the wicked, right? A lot of these people that you see, they're going to be burnt up, okay? Of ungodly men, because we're living in a society where a lot of people, they're ungodly. They delight in being ungodly. They delight in being wicked, right? But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as is 1,000 years, and as 1,000 years as one day. So it's just as yesterday, right? And the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to us, with not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. And that's what he wants, right? But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, unexpectedly, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So this earth, as we know, not all the earth is going to perish away. Certain parts, beginning with America and certain other parts, right? With a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent, that's intense heat. Intense heat, right? And the earth also, and the works that are therein, shall be burned up, right? The works is everything that's within it, the different elements. And that fervent heat is going to be through their missiles. Everything that's in this way. Verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So us knowing these things are going to be dissolved, us knowing these things are going to perish, what manner of mind are we supposed to be in? We're supposed to be serious about this truth. Knowing these things are going to perish. Your cars, your motorcycles, right? The things you delight in, all these things are going to perish. They're going to dissolve. They're going to evaporate, right? And it says, with a great noise, right? Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, and what manner of person we need to be in all holy conversation and godliness. That's our mindset. All holy conversation and godliness, right? Our mind's supposed to be more focused on the things of the spirit, not the things of this world, not the distractions, right? Not the bread and circuses, right? Because all that's to keep you distracted from what? The real thing that's going on. Okay? And it says, Babakashah, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, when the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved. That's what we're waiting for. A hasting, right? Hasting of the coming of the Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Yeah, we're waiting, but we're still hasting. We want it to come, right? Whether the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, right? Esau's rulership, because the heavens are still going to be here, right? Being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, right? Because you got different heavens. You got the heaven, which is a condition, which is a rulership, and you got the second heavens, the clouds, and you got outside of that the third, which is what they call space, and you got outside of that, which is the other dimension that the Heavenly Father is in, right? So even with heavens, there's different. Even like with the word world, there's different worlds, all right? And an element shall melt with fervent heat. That's intense heat. You put something in the pan, you cook it, and it dissolves. Same way this world's gonna go out. Fervent heat, intense heat, right? Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to His promise, right, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. According to His, who's promise? Yahweh. We look for a new earth and a new heavens. Don't you want that? Right? A true Christian, because you ask what's these Christians, they don't. No, that sounds. No, but we don't want that. A so-called true Christian, a true follower of Mashiach wants that. A new heaven and a new earth where dwelleth righteousness. Where your food you're eating, you don't have to check the ingredients, right? No. Well, I hope this don't have gelatin. I don't have this poison. Ain't that what you want? Where everything is pure, where everything is perfect, right? Where everything is just flourishing in righteousness. But our people have been so corrupted. They're comfortable in degradation, wickedness. Not all, but most of our people. Nevertheless, we according to His promise look for a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness, right? And we might as well go to that. A new heavens and a new earth. Let's go to Revelation 21. I hope you're being edified. This is Revelation 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. So it was renewed, right? I saw a new heaven and a new earth, and the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, which we are currently living in now. This kingdom. This kingdom represents the old. It's going to represent the old soon. It's going to be the former. Were passed, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem. Right? When Christians read this, they think of it as an actual city coming out from the heavens, which is not impossible for the Heavenly Father to do. But this city is referring to what? Men. Right? Men. Coming down into the heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Also, yeah, women as well. Because you have certain, bear me just a minute, members of the elect that are women as well. Right? Okay. And it says, Baba Kasha, coming down from out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Right? Because, again, we're going to need to be changed. So, the Lord's going to need to change our bodies back to the Heavenly Father. Right? And we're going to what? Come back down. That's why the scripture says the dead in Mashiach shall rise first. And it says, as a bride adorned for her husband, we are the bride of Yahweh Shai. We're Yahweh Shai's bride. Verse 3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men. Right? That's who he's with. Right? He's with men. Okay? And he shall dwell with them. So the body, the tabernacle is with men. The building is with men. Right? A physical building. And the Most High himself, hold on a minute, with men, and he shall dwell with them, and they shall be his people. That's part of the new covenant. Because not all of our people, even though they're Israelites, not all of our people are being accepted by their Heavenly Father. And the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. 1 verse 4. And the Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, right? Nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So all tears are going to be wiped away, and there's going to be no more crying, because there's going to be no more distress, and there's going to be no more sin. You're not going to be going off. No more pain. You're not going to get ailment pain, back pain, neck pain, leg pain, for the former things are passed away. So all the former things, right, in the past, they're going to pass away. Everything. Go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66. See if we can find it. Hold on just a minute. Isaiah, oh, here it is. It's Isaiah 65 and 17. For behold, I create a new heavens, right? And that word for create is bara. It's bara. I create a new heavens and a new earth. So everything's going to be reformed. And even when you see volcanoes, what is volcano? It forms new land, right? Completely. And the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind, right? As it says, nor come into mind, but be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her a people of joy, right? So the former, this what we're living in, this ain't even going to come into mind, because everything's going to be renewed, replenished, everything, right? We're going to shut off soon. Revelation 21 and 5. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things new. And he said unto me, write, for these words are true and faithful. So these words that we're reading, they're true and faithful. And yes, we believe in them, right? These things are going to happen in real time. Okay? So with this, I hope this was edifying. And until the next time, shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.